president has the powers to give executive orders that where circumstances do exist.
Executive Order 6, Pathway to Anti-Corruption Victory.
The EU has been responsive and so far have provided with us data, information, and corresponding analysis for floods.
Flood victims receive succor from European Union. Plus, troops destroy another Boko Haram camp. Hello, welcome to NTA Network News. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. Reading from Lagos is Michael Olaleye. Naomi Abuako is in Maiduguri, while Kemi Akinwode is in Ibadan. Governor Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar of Zamfara State has described as false and mischievous insinuations in some quarters that he is planning to defect from the governing All Progressives Congress, APC. The governor made the clarification while speaking to newsmen after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports on this and engagements of the president.
Governor Yari Abubakar, accompanied to the State House by his Kano State counterpart Abdullahi Umar Ganduji, may have been summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari over the controversy surrounding the conduct of party primaries in his state. Details of their discussions, which lasted more than 30 minutes behind closed doors, were not made public. But speaking to newsmen, the governor insists that primary elections were held in Zamfara State, contrary to media reports credited to INEC.
What we explained to Mr. President in the case of Zamfara, we told him that election has been conducted 3rd and the 4th of October, and all agencies, INEC, civil defense, police, SSS are there, and they signed for us. And the report was written by the REC that election was conducted. For the INEC to say there's no election, but we don't know why they get the information. A 7 grace for the party, a 7 grace for the INEC, for court of competent jurisdiction to give judgment on Zamfara matter.
The governor also reacted to speculations that he might be planning to defect from the APC.
If you check my history, since 1998 AIPP, in 2002 when Buhari joined AMPP, in 2015 APC, no time that I shifted from one party to another. So therefore, the issue of leaving the party is not true.
Also in the State House was the Senate leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, who could not confirm to newsmen whether or not leadership change in the parliament is still a priority for the governing party members.
The National Assembly will continue to remain focused on national issues. We must be patriotic, we must be nationalistic, we must put the national interest above individual, parochial, or partisan interests. We definitely have to bury our assets for us to work for Nigeria and Nigerians, and therefore perhaps that might have informed the disappointment of many people that there will be crisis in the National Assembly. Maybe disagreements could crop up on some other issues, but for now, our focus is the national interest.
And away from politics, President Muhammadu Buhari engaged the executive chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria on the just concluded 2018 Hajj exercise.
Mr. President was very happy with the outcome of the Hajj. He particularly commended Nigerian pilgrims for behaving excellently during the Hajj, and he urged and directed that preparation for the 2019 Hajj should commence in earnest, and we should try to sustain the tempo of all the successes recorded.
The chairman said the main challenge encountered during the Hajj operations had to do with the physical fitness of some pilgrims, which he promised can be checked through proper education, enlightenment, and effective medical screening. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The federal government has promised to remain firm and focused on enforcing the Treasury single account, which it says is no longer optional for accountability and sustainable future of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari made the promise while receiving in audience the national executive members of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria.
To appreciate the Nigerian leader for, among others, ensuring an inclusive and strong economy by blocking leakages and making youth empowerment, as well as provision of critical infrastructure, top priority. President Buhari told his guests that insistence on sound financial structure requires sacrifice and focus. And for the governing APC, he emphasized accountability is not an option, but indeed the watchword.
Unless we know what gets in, how can we account for what gets out? So TSA makes a lot of sense. That's why this administration insisted that it has to come into being, that any revenue must go through, and therefore it can be traced how it goes out. I think that's the beginning of accountability.
President Buhari urged the accountants to remain supportive to government in the fight against corruption, warning that they might not be liked by many people because of their professional ethics, but such sacrifice, he said, is necessary for the country to grow. The national president of ANAN, Sheikh Usman Ladan, commended President Buhari for instilling fiscal discipline in the management of Nigeria's economy, thereby enhancing the nation's image in the Committee of Nations and significantly improving foreign direct investments.
The implementation of Treasury single account and other economic policies has provided greater visibility of government revenue and cash flows. This government has instilled fiscal discipline in the system by plugging loopholes for leakages. We salute the courage of the government in this anti-corruption crusade. It is indeed a Herculean task, but surmountable. We have the confidence that the sincerity and commitment of the government, the war will be won. Similarly, Your Excellency must be appreciated for the success recorded in the fight against insurgents in the country, especially the liberation of many communities in the northeast hitherto under the control of the Boko Haram. We have no doubt that the second term of Your Excellency will bring more succor to the scenery and better economy.
Alhaji Sheikh Ladan used the opportunity to request for, among others, the appointment of more ANAN members into key government positions and their inclusion in the governance structure of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. ANAN, he said, as leader in public sector accounting, is ever ready to offer professional advice to government on the economy and the fight against graft in the polity. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Observers of the nation's social and economic evolution have hinted that the Federal High Court's recent judgment validating President Buhari's executive order on the seizure of assets linked to corruption is likely to serve as an impetus for the fight against corruption. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo in this report puts the court judgments in perspective.
This is another instance in which lawyers and social commentators have always suggested the testing of the law wherever any policy is regarded contentious instead of revolting. President Muhammadu Buhari had on the 5th of July 2018 issued a presidential executive order, now known as Executive Order 6, providing for the interim seizure of assets linked to ongoing criminal trials and investigations.
So this executive order now came out again. It appears it's reinstating, reinforcing the power, saying, listen, the person who has absolute powers, pursuant to the constitutional powers, is the Attorney General. He's the one who can take over and prosecute and do other things allied to the powers of prosecution.
Two private lawyers, Ikenga Ugochinyere and Kenneth Udeze, shortly after instituted a suit before the Federal High Court in Abuja, challenging the validity of the order. Now Justice Ijoma Ojoku, before whom the case was instituted, has affirmed that the President has the constitutional powers to issue executive orders as long as it does not encroach into the principles of separation of powers. Justice Ojukwu ruled that the presidential executive order was issued as a policy directive for the implementation of provisions of existing laws, adding that it also recognized the right of every citizen to approach the court for redress if aggrieved by the enforcement of the order.
There are boundaries to rights, and if our right to own property is tainted with corrupt practices, then that is not a right that you can enjoy. And in such an instance, the court and the president has the powers to give executive orders that where circumstances do exist and facts show that properties are illegally acquired through corruption, then these properties can be seized while such investigations as to whether or not the presumption or the reasonability of the facts as shows is correct or not.
This ruling now paves the way for the full implementation of Executive Order 6 as part of the fight against corruption. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
The Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts has asked the Federal Ministry of Finance and Debt Management Office to present details of over $2.876 billion Eurobond loan request by the ministry for consideration. The committee says its request for detailed explanation on the sum to be borrowed from international capital market and its significance to the running of the economy has become imperative with a view to appropriate channeling of the loan for functional development of the people. John Yaku has details.
The Senate in July this year received the request from the Minister of Finance asking for the approval of the sum to enable it finance the deficit in the 2018 budget. During the defense, representatives of the Ministry and Debt Management Office were asked to give details of collateral, interest rate, and other conditionalities for the loan.
So you have to tell us what are the risk analysis you have taken and what is the collateral of the China's facilities we have taken.
On the utilization of funds or the loans earlier taken, please, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation will be in a better state.
Let us borrow in such a way that the next generation, when they come, when they open the file, they will see figures, and when they go outside, they will see structures that justifies these figures.
The outcome of the committee will be presented at the Senate plenary for approval. From the National Assembly, John Yaku, NTA News.
Nigeria is asking the International Monetary Fund and World Bank to help curb illicit financial flows from international oil companies. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed, while speaking on the sidelines of the ongoing annual meetings in Nusa Dua, Bali, also spoke on the global preparedness to mitigating the effects of natural disasters. Let's join finance and economy correspondent Leah Katung Babatunde for the rest of that story.
South Africa's former President Thabo Mbeki made a disturbing disclosure recently in Abuja. A staggering $80 billion is being peddled out of Africa annually through illicit financial flows. This concern is largely around international companies operating in countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and Angola that are major commodity exporters and top on the economic ladder of sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria has been meeting with the Commonwealth and G24 in Bali on economic issues, and Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed say part of the request from Nigeria is a concerted effort to curb tax evasion and avoidance by most, especially large oil companies, as the economy is still being run largely on revenue from oil.
Ask for them to look at how we can prevent transfer pricing, how we can stop the flows that go out of that sector, because these are revenues that we will use to enhance our development.
The government has in recent time put in place strategies to boost the nation's tax collection to appreciating ratio against the GDP. Minister Zainab said a global approach to preparations for natural disasters was also discussed in closed-door sessions. The Nigerian delegation has been assuring investors in Bali of higher returns available for them in the country. I'm Leah Kating Babatunde, NTA News.
Nigeria's tilt towards entrepreneurship is affording women opportunity to be actively involved in boosting the country's economy. This was at the first Pan-African Women Expo, which is also giving such entrepreneurs the platform to compete globally. Naja'atu Tijani reports.
Women drive the economy both actively and behind the scene, while facing challenges such as limited access to funding and finding markets for their products. For Amina, an upcoming entrepreneur based in Abuja, creating an enabling business environment for startups like hers to thrive also means expanding cross-border trade.
People who tell me, oh, you know what, you're doing good, you can just send these things abroad, you can just put these things on shelves and everything. A lot of people want to patronize and all. But when you're in the business, you get to know that there are so many government regulations.
This is one of the many aims of the organizers of the first Pan-African Women's Expo, which aims to promote cross-border trade so that women entrepreneurs can compete globally.
Nigeria chapter is leading the process to integrate the trade in the sub-region.
That is why we're saying female entrepreneurship is an issue that must be looked into to assist them to have loans and to have the capacity needed to boost their businesses.
As the Nigerian government seeks to enhance market-friendly policies to improve ease of doing business, interventions such as the support being given to entrepreneurs like Amina will ensure that they smile all the way to the bank. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Now, a new iron ore deposit for steel production has been discovered in Abuja, Kogi State. Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development Abubakar Bawa Buhari disclosed this in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Just like many other developing countries, Nigeria is also looking forward to manufacturing our own automobiles and ships. The realization of this, however, depends largely on the availability of steel products. Though Nigeria spends $3.5 billion annually in importing steel for our infant industries. Abubakar Bawa Buhari, Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, was worried by this. So, the ministry embarked on engaging local and foreign experts to explore the land with the hope of discovering more solid mineral resources to bridge this steel deficit. Time and resources committed to this project have started paying off as a huge deposit of iron ore for the production of quality steel has been discovered in Abuja, Kogi State, by one of the companies engaged by the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
And I'm delighted to say that a couple of weeks ago, our consultants confirmed to us that we can take the iron ore from the Abuja iron ore deposit and we can produce a high quality cast steel product.
You intend to go further to ensure that we don't just take these things out, that these things are used domestically.
This, the minister said, will motivate the federal government to do more. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Debt Management Office DMO refutes claim of Nigeria's debt profile as economic expert identifies non-oil sector as panacea to IMF's economic growth projection. Let's now join Abolade Salami for this and more on our business news segment.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on the Business News segment. Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Onia, says Nigeria is not in any debt crisis as reported by a section of the media. Onia, while speaking on the sidelines of the Regional Economic Outlook of the International Monetary Fund in Bali, Indonesia, said the nation's economic managers are intensifying efforts on domestic revenue mobilization on a long-term revenue base. Going by the recent IMF Economic Growth Outlook projection for Nigeria being down by 1.9% from its initial projection of 2.1% in April, former President, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Segun Ajibola, said if Africa's largest economy can consolidate through the non-oil sector, the nation can bounce back on track.
But for Africa, the three economies of Africa are suffering the same fate. And for Nigeria, we need to continue to restructure our economy to be able to move faster than the IMF projection. We need to consolidate our gains in the agricultural sector. We need to encourage the micro, small to medium enterprises sector. If we can do all this, I believe Nigeria as an economy will be able to outperform the IMF projection.
Away from IMF to oil, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has slashed its forecast of global demand growth for oil in 2019 for a third straight month. OPEC, in its monthly report, said world oil demand would increase by 1.36 million barrels per day next year, making a decline of 50,000 barrels per day from its previous estimates. Let's now take you to the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to see how stocks were traded this Friday.
Equities market closed Friday's trading in the green, appreciating by 0.12% to close the all-share index at 32,456.98 basis points. The volume of shares traded were 162 million, valued at 2.23 billion naira, which changed hands in 2,922 deals, with 11.84 trillion as the market capitalization. Nigeria breweries with 3 naira gain led the gainers chart, followed by Interbrewery appreciating by 1 naira 5 kobo, while Nestle led the losers chart with 30 kobo loss.
Stock Market Reports concludes business news segment. The news continues shortly. Please stay with us.
This is NTA Network News. Up ahead, fuel explosion claims lives in Abia State. After this timeout.
Some have sense and can nothing. Some can think but have no sense. Sister, good morning. I have everything. Can you come to my house? This is beautiful. Yeah, she's using my Kumago to take my customer. We will do something. 50% discount. Hey! Thank you. Madam,
please come inside.
Shut up your mouth.
So you don't know that with low or gas sim, you can upload your market and get as many customers as you want?
You useless! I said, "Come on, the beginning where you come, you get great."
With Glow Orgassi, enjoy 125% more data to get.
Some have sense and can nothing. Some can think but have no sense.
When I was a little girl, I loved spending time with Mum and Grandma cleaning the house. I was so excited to sing in the choir.
And your shirts are always so white.
I knew what Mum's secret was. Today, I'm a modern woman that still trusts the secrets passed down to me. It's Jik, of course. The original trusted bleach, which can be used all around your house for amazing results.
Shh, it's our little secret.
It's no secret. It's Jik's best ever extra whitening power. Just Jik it.
Africa's fastest growing educational institution, Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Abuja, celebrate 9th Founders Day and 6th Convocation.
Funded by Afe.
Ceremonies begin Sunday, 14th October with a Thanksgiving service, October 16th. Facility tour, October 17th. Induction of computer and engineering students, October 18th. Induction of law graduates and grand finale convocation games, October 19th. Induction into Abuja Alumni Association and Jumat service, October 20. Convocation lecture by Mr. John Momo, Chairman, Channels Television. Evening, Founders Day, awards, endowment, and a dinner. Sunday, October 21. Convocation ceremony, awards of degrees, prizes, and honorary degrees to be conferred on the President, African Development Bank, Dr. Akiwumi Adishina, and the Chairman, Channels Group, Mr. John Momo. Programs commence at 10 a.m. prompt. Abuja, most successful private university in Nigeria by Association of Vice Chancellors.
Hello.
Hi, Jenny.
Can you supply 1,000 bottles of juice by noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Hello?
One day, I go any store and say I want everything.
Jenny. Auntie, please, I need a loan.
One day, anything I want, hurry up. Get it times 2. Someday, I'll be living.
Hello?
Clean that up, clean that up. Because I don't get the money, you downgrade me.
Your order is on the way.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for financing to grow a business? I have good news for you. Development Bank of Nigeria now provides sustainable financing through commercial banks, microfinance banks, and other financial institutions with repayment terms of up to 10 years. Please do remember, paying back your loan in good time will give you access to more loans.
Development Bank of Nigeria, financing sustainable growth.
Ever since he could hold a bat, Charles wanted to play like his big brother. Victor had skills that matched the best in the land. Never mind, little brother, drink your Dano milk and keep practicing. So that is what he did. And step by step, glass by glass, the boy grew in spirit and strength. Drink your Dano milk and be strong.
Also available in Dano Cool Cow, Dano Slim, and Dano Flavored Milk. Choose Dano, choose goodness.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
Buhari can't wake me for death. As my matter be, it be like he say, person die, person God can't wake him. Now so Buhari can't wake me from death. But I not get something when they go give her unless thank you. I did get change to make farm. Then he helped me house. The house when I did before, he dey link. Before I born, 5 pikin. You know, I not get food when I go give them. That's why I share them. But now my pikin they near me. Sunday with me now. No be like before. I happy. I thank Buhari. I no see him, but God go carry my I go meet her where I dey.
Welcome back to the news. Not less than 30 residents of 2 communities in Osisioma, Ngwa local government area of Abia State died Friday morning in a pipeline explosion. The explosion was caused by suspected vandals. Here is the report.
The incident, which occurred at about 1 o'clock this Friday morning, was as a result of pipeline vandalism by some members of the community who have been in the illegal business on daily basis for decades, despite several warnings by the government. From what NTN News crew gathered, it seems this particular incident is more disastrous than previous occurrences in the area, as it claimed over 38 lives, while about 11 persons were injured.
We got the information that pipeline, there is fire outbreak in pipeline here. So before we know it, many souls have been wasted.
I can recall that sometime last year we went around there with pressmen, and we've been calling on NNPC, PPMC to repair these lines. 3 times we've invited the depot manager, PPMC Osisioma, to give us an insight of why this constant rupture of this pipeline. And sad enough, he has not honored our invitation.
We encourage our youth not to engage in such acts. It's a bad one, it's against the government. So we are not a supporter of that.
As at the time of filing this report, those injured were said to be receiving medical attention in an undisclosed hospital. From Osisioma local government area of Abia State, Kelechi Okata, NTN News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Friday in Abuja, reported an oil pipeline fire outbreak along the Osisioma axis near Abba Depot in its System 2E pipeline network. The corporation said the incident might have been caused by suspected oil thieves who had hacked into the line to intercept flow of petrol from Port Harcourt to Abba. NNPC Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Mr. Ndo Ogamadu, confirmed fatalities and loss of properties in the ensuing inferno. The corporation's safety experts, along with men of the Abia State Fire Service, had swung into action to contain the situation, saying updates on the situation would be provided as events unfold. NNPC Group Managing Director Dr. Meikanti Baru expressed shock at the wanton willful destruction and lives and properties occasioned by the incident. The GMD prayed that God reposes the souls of the innocent ones that died in the incident, even as he warned members of the public against tampering with oil and gas facilities, many of which he said are inflammable. Dr. Baru called on host communities to create avenues to moderate criminal tendencies of a few bad eggs living among them. Now, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has decimated a Boko Haram terrorist training camp and also destroyed a Boko Haram vehicle near Tumbam Rego in Borno State. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibukole Daramola, indicates that the attack on the heels of credible intelligence reports that several structures camouflaged under thick vegetation in the settlement were being used to harbor and train Boko Haram terrorist fighters. The Nigerian Air Force, working in synergy with ground forces, says it will continue to sustain the momentum of operations with a view to destroying remnants of the Boko Haram terrorists on the fringes of Lake Chad and other areas in northern Borno. Now, the mother of Leah Sharibu, the only Dapchi school girl still in captivity, has appealed to her abductors to be compassionate and release her unharmed. The appeal was contained in a video exclusively obtained by NTA. It will be recalled that Leah Sharibu and 109 other girls were abducted from their school in Dapchi on February 19th this year. While most of the girls have been released, Leah has remained in captivity and her abductors have threatened to kill her. Similarly, relatives to 3 female aid workers who were abducted in March this year have pleaded for their release. Alice Lokshar was working with the International Committee of the Red Cross in Ran Kalabalgi when she was abducted, while Amina Liban was working with UNICEF at the time of her abduction. Gideon Lokshar, Alice's younger brother, and Yakachi Liman, Amina's mother, have both pleaded for their release. The third abducted lady, Safura Husseini Ahmed, was killed by her abductors last month. Meanwhile, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, in company of 2 other ministers, have visited Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, to condole and reassure parents of the 3 aid workers kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists. Anthony Forson reports. That report will come to you subsequently. Now, as Nigeria inches towards the 2019 general elections, speakers at an Interfaith conference in Abuja were unanimous in their submission that support by religious leaders, the media, traditional institutions and security agencies is key in ensuring a hate-free exercise. Miriam Abata has details.
Nigeria facing another general elections, which will perhaps be the most intensely contested in the country, some groups have already started beating the drums of ethnicity and religious differences. This informed a 2-day conference by Interfaith Initiative for Peace (IIP) on religious harmony in Nigeria towards peaceful elections convened by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, and the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onaikan, taking into consideration the need for religious leaders to sensitize their followers on the necessity of living in harmony.
Those leaders is to continue to educate followers either at churches or mosques or preaching grounds or whatever it is with the fear of God.
The issue of religion being a positive element in ensuring peaceful election is still a burning issue.
We have made very useful and valuable contributions that will be a springboard for the forthcoming general election.
It affords the opportunity of telling people the level of preparedness for the 2019 elections.
I think one of the most important things is to draw the line clearly that religious leaderships are not to be participant in the political process.
The conveners say Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, with an estimated population of over 200 billion people, made up of over 250 ethnic groups and tribes, must live in harmony, hence the need for the citizenry to see the strength in their diversity by ensuring peaceful elections. Miriam Akbata, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress APC says former President Olusegun Obasanjo is making frantic efforts to secure United States entry visa for the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar. In a statement by the acting National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Yekini Nabena recalls that former President Obasanjo, while in office, had directed the EFCC in getting Atiku prosecuted for corruption and money laundering. Regrettably, the sudden endorsement of Atiku by Obasanjo and subsequent lobbying to secure U.S. entry visa for Atiku tell much about the character of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. It's time now to join Michael in Lagos for more reports.
You can welcome to Lagos. Regular operations have resumed at the Murtala Muhammed Airport 2 terminal as protesting aviation unions have called off their strike. Dr. Ogunyemi reports that the industrial action was called off after an agreement was reached by the parties.
The barricades and protesters who stood here for 2 days have now been removed. This is following some sort of agreement between the aviation unions and the operators of the Murtala Muhammed 2 terminal. There is currently free flow of vehicular movement in and out of the airport premises as airlines affected by the strike have recommenced operations. According to the unions, the strike was called off after the agreement resolved to recall the 27 sacked workers.
In the notice of strike, we had only 2 demands. What were these demands? Recall the victimized workers and allow unfettered unionization of the workforce of my company. And as we speak today, this has been considered.
The National Union of Air Transport Employees, however, gave a report of pending disciplinary cases against some of the disengaged workers.
Well, from my own findings yesterday evening, I was made to understand that there are certain staffs that have reached the age of retirement.
The unions cleared the air that only 27 out of the 62 workers who were allegedly fired will be reinstated, pointing out that others will be considered for reinstatement. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
The Nigerian liquefied natural gas (NLNG) says 2,965 students drawn from different parts of the country have benefited from its education intervention program since inception. Deputy Managing Director of NLNG, Sadiq Meibonu, disclosed this during the 2018 NLNG Scholars Day celebration in Port Harcourt. Robinson Derate has details.
It was further noted that the Nigerian liquefied natural gas NLNG Education Intervention Program started in 1998 as part of its corporate social responsibilities to train undergraduates from host communities. NLNG Deputy Managing Director Sadiq Borno said the initiative was expanded in 2012 to include post-primary and postgraduate students across the country to study in the United Kingdom, stressing that about 800 million naira has been invested in the program.
NLNG is just partnering with the community, with Nigeria, to make sure that we actually move our country forward in terms of building a better nation.
River State Commissioner for Education, Terminus Gogo Jaja, commend the company, noting that investment in human resources will address insecurity in the host communities.
I will wish and I will urge and I will implore you that set up, even if you can't employ all of them, if you design a program to say the best student, the best trade, you will see that all of them will be committed to their studies to come out the best.
2 students who made distinctions in their postgraduate studies abroad, including a visually impaired Ebiore Ellen Jumbo, were given star awards. Other students who stood out in their post-primary and undergraduate studies were also rewarded.
That this is a company that believes in equality, diversity, and inclusion. This is a principle that must be held in our country.
And I'm really grateful to them for putting education first and giving it as a gift to students.
The students are selected on merit through written and oral examinations. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratede, NTA News.
You are still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet contains powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available with syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceuticals and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to healthy living.
It's okay, I'm okay.
What happened?
It's just a little scratch, Mom. How can I play with bigger boys if I'm afraid of little scratches, right?
What comforts a mother most is to see her child growing up.
Done, I'll go.
Of course. But I know that as he learns to be brave, he'll face even more germs and the risk of infection.
That's why you need Dettol protection, because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Capful for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Introducing Dettol Antiseptic Liquid in Sachet for only 40 naira. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
As more international donor agencies continue to support federal government's intervention in flood-ravaged areas in the country, the European Union has again donated €1 million, an equivalent of 400 million naira, for reconstruction and rehabilitation. European Union Ambassador to Nigeria, Ketil Kelson, announced the donation at a World News Conference in Abuja. Eliasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The funds donated will be used for the reconstruction of ravaged areas and rehabilitation of over 60,000 IDPs in Anambra, Delta and Kogi states. More than 2 million people have been displaced in the 12 states ravaged by flood.
It's very important to have this engagement alongside the very continuous and strong partnership that we have with Nigeria.
Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Hajj, expressed appreciation for the gesture.
The EU has been responsive and so far have provided with us data, information and corresponding analysis for flood situation, meteorological situation, dam water release scenario and impact assessment, deployment of experts to already established emergency operation centers under the United Nations leadership.
Even though the level of waters in dams and rivers have receded, experts say rehabilitation of IDPs and reconstruction of ravaged areas must be given priority. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
We now bring you the report on federal government's delegation to Maiduguri on Condolence.
These are the faces of the parents of the 3 kidnapped aid workers. Hussein Ahmed and his wife are parents to the aid worker that was killed, while Abdul Qadir Abdul Karim and his wife and Gideon Loksha are parents to the remaining 2 still in the custody of their captors. Leader of the delegation, Lai Mohammed, in an emotion-laden voice, conveyed President Muhammad Buhari's condolence to the bereaved, as well as the assurance of a strong determination to secure the release of the 2 in captivity.
To assure the government and people of Borno State, and especially the families of those aid workers who are still in captivity, that the federal government will leave no stone unturned to ensure the safe return to their families. The government and people of Borno State in particular have borne the brunt of the insurgency, probably more than any state or part of the country. But I think it's to the credit of the government and people of Borno State that they've stood resolutely to fight this extremism. And for this, the federal government and Nigerians are very grateful.
The minister re-echoed President Muhammad Buhari's assurance to the parents of Leah Sharibu.
What we have come here to do is a follow-up on the assurance of Mr. President that he will do everything possible, including soliciting the help of international agencies and foreign governments to appeal to the insurgents to please release these girls who are in custody. These are very trying times for Nigeria. These are very trying times for the government and people of Borno State. But they say tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Lending her voice to that of the Information and Culture Minister, Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim, in an emotion-laden voice equally, spoke in her native dialect.
President Muhammad Buhari and their Zuzu ishe neya shimonye.
She reinforced President Muhammad Buhari's determination to secure the release of the aid workers and all other Nigerians in captivity. The Deputy Governor of Borno State, while expressing gratitude for the visit and the federal government's effort, assured the delegation of Borno State's support all the time. It will be recalled that in March this year, the 3 female aid workers, Alice Lokosha of the International Red Cross Society, Amina Liman of UNICEF, and Sefra Husseini were kidnapped by Boko Haram members, who later killed Sefra in Maiduguri. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The federal government warns against the use of unauthorized genetically modified crops for human and animal consumption by food producers and processors. This is coming as activities of ministries, departments and agencies responsible for the livestock authorization of import and export of agricultural produce are being streamlined for effective policing. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
And for the Ministry of Agriculture,
the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Nigeria Customs, NAFDAC and Biosafety Development Agency are government organs responsible for providing license for import and export of agricultural produce.
Because we are aware that some of these food items were approved by some other agencies.
It is in this light that a document is being drafted to streamline activities of these agencies with a view to effectively monitoring movement of genetically modified organisms and plants in the country.
Please, I urge all sister agencies to take this seriously, because we are aware that some of these food items were approved by some other agencies. We are aware too that some of these grains are also approved by some other agencies. Our enforcement team are on ground. We enforce with relevant government agencies, enforcement agencies, to ensure that our laws are complied with.
Once this document has been validated and is in the public domain, that will all make use of it. That will not leave it aside and go our various ways, but that it will be a document that will guide, our activities as far as biosafety or our various mandates are concerned.
The federal government insists that farmers are not allowed to go into commercial production of GMO plants without license. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Maiduguri is next on our lineup, and Naomi is our guide. Hello, Naomi.
And welcome to Maiduguri. Parents and caregivers in Borno State have been challenged to consolidate on the implementation of action plan towards ending recruitment and engagement of underage children in armed conflict. United States Ambassador to Nigeria Stan Simonson threw the challenge during the formal separation of 833 children associated with civilian joint task force in Borno under the joint action plan signed with United Nations in Nigeria. Abubakar Muhammad Musa reports.
The Civilian Joint Task Force emerged out of a necessity at the peak of the insurgency to support security agencies dislodge the Boko Haram insurgents from communities in Borno where they reigned terror, underscoring the series of negative effects associated with armed conflict among children, especially on internal security. United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Stuart Symington, described the implementation of the action plan as a durable solution for the recruitment and use of children in settling crises, and therefore charged concerned individuals to contribute immensely towards achieving the set goals. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima and Sheikh of Borno Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi, who were both represented, said the development towards a child-free civilian joint task force would no doubt strengthen the peace processes put in place in the state, and commended non-governmental organizations for their partnership over the years. UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Panile Ironside, and Deputy Solicitor General, Ministry for Justice, Borno State, Barrister Abdullah Husseini Izgi, called for a holistic approach on the action plan, especially in critical areas. The joint action plan signed between CJTF and United Nations is expected to cover areas where minors are associated with armed conflict in Borno State. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
That does it from here. We now take you to Ibadan Network Center, where Kemi is standing by.
Thank you, Naomi, and welcome to Ibadan. Oni of Ife Obadieye Ogunwusi has tasked Yoruba race to remain united, pursue peace, and relate in love with one another for the region to retain its enviable position among other regions in the country. The monarch said this at a workshop organized by the Yoruba Unity Forum at the Ikenne residence of Awolowo in Ogun State. Respondent Yemi Dalimo has the report.
The meeting, which was attended by traditional rulers in Yoruba land, including the Olubado of Ibadan land, was chaired by Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi. Addressing the gathering, Oba Ogunwusi urged the Yoruba nation to continue living in peace and show love and respect for one another for the region to regain its pride.
What we're doing here is to maintain that dignity, that power truly belongs to the people. And our leaders, it's about time for them to always make themselves available to the people they're leading.
Speaking on the theme of the workshop, State of the Nation, Yoruba, where are we? Professor Banji Akintoye said Yoruba race will enjoy more development and progress when its people are more determined to defend their dignity, culture, and protect interests of the race at all costs. Senator Femi Okurumu, Dr. Tokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, and Mr. Yinka Odumakin, who spoke on the need for Yoruba unity in confronting 2019 challenges and consensus on restructuring and its prospects, said there is the need for restructuring, saying Yoruba is united to support leaders. Representatives of the President General of the Ohanese Ndigbo, Eze Okon Emeniki, said the zone is also in agreement with the Yoruba leaders in the task of moving the zone forward. Meeting, however, called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to remain impartial and neutral during the coming 2019 general elections. Yemi Dalemo, NT News.
The Federal Road Safety Commission says the newly inaugurated headquarters complex in Oyo State will assist the Commission to discharge its statutory responsibilities effectively. The assurance was given in Ibadan at the launching of the FRSC office complex. Correspondent Shola Wahid reports that Governor Abiola Ajimobi promised to support the Commission and other security agencies in the state.
Inaugurating the new 30-room office complex, Governor Abiola Ajimobi represented described the event as another milestone in the administration's quest to boost the security of lives and property of people in Oyo State. He said his government is committed to assisting the Commission and other security outfits to discharge their duties in a conducive environment. Co-Marshal FRSC Boboye Oyeyemi, when appreciating the federal and state governments for supporting the Commission, said the Commission's resolve to reduce road traffic crashes on highways is irreversible.
We need the support of Nigerians and all the road users for the ember months that we dovetail into the end of the year patrol operations. We can have a crash, but let it be zero fatalities. Life is more precious.
And I'm very sure that the entire populace of Oyo State and Nigeria will feel that impact.
I call upon the staff, officers and men of the Federal Road Safety Commission to dedicate themselves to the mandate of the Commission.
10 office complexes have been built across the country, while states that are yet to have their own offices will get before the end of 2019. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
The news continues with Kene after these messages.
I was a little girl. I loved spending time with Mum and Grandma cleaning the house. I was so excited to sing in the choir. And your shirts are always so white. I knew what Mum's secret was. Today, I'm a modern woman that still trusts the secrets passed down to me. It's Jik, of course. The original trusted bleach, which can be used all around your house for amazing results. Shh, it's our little secret. It's no secret. It's Jik's best ever extra whitening power. Just Jik it.
Sports update is next with Tamara Ebiwe.
Nigeria Super Eagles say their first leg 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against the Mediterranean Knights of Libya in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Saturday is a must-win for them as they plot to go into the second leg October 16 on advantage. Meanwhile, a 54-man Libyan delegation arrived Uyo Friday as the Nigeria versus Libya match kicks off at 4 p.m. on Saturday.
Every one of us know the importance of the game. We need just winning, nothing like the important thing is on Saturday we win over here and then go to Tunisia to see what points we're going to get over there.
The 9th edition of the Korean Ambassador Cup went underway in Abuja Friday following a 3-day referees training course by the Nigeria Taekwondo Federation. A total of 138 athletes from 34 organizations are competing for honors in different weight categories at the annual tournament.
Since this event started in the 1980s, this is the first time ever we've introduced the juniors, which of course tells you the emphasis that the current administration places on youth development.
Government Science Technical College, Garki, won the 400 meters boys race at the second Nigeria Union of Teachers Athletics Federation of Nigeria Secondary Schools Athletics Championships, climaxed at the main bowl of Abuja National Stadium Friday, with twin brothers coming first and third in the 400 meters race. Ade Jeffred crossed the line a time of 53.59 seconds, followed by Ibrahim Kabiru of GSS Kabusa at 54.23 seconds, while Adia Jerry trailed at 54.62 seconds. With sports update, Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And that's NTA Network News tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. My name is Kene Emma Awurike. Good night.
This is